All right, best ever listeners, how you doing? Welcome to the AI show for commercial real estate investors. And it's the show about how to do things through AI. There's so many conversations that take place about the cool stuff that AI can do, but this show is about how to do those things and a step-by-step process. Unfortunately, we have with us Bonny Wayman, who is going to walk us through how she uses AI to asset manage her properties. And she's going to show us how to create using ChatGPT, how to create a custom GPT to manage her properties, as well as how it helps her prepare for the weekly property management calls and troubleshooting issues. So first off, hello, Bonny.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, looking forward to our conversation. Bonny is the asset manager at Wild Oak Capital. She is in Durango, Colorado. She is a GP and an LP. On the GP side, she has a single family vacation rental, as well as some smaller multifamilies and some the GP on apartment communities. And on the LP side, she's a passive investor as well. So she's got perspective from both sides of the fence. So with that, Bonny, I'll let you take it away if you don't mind, and educate us with what you do with AI and asset management.
Great. So thanks for having me. I'm excited to share kind of how I'm using AI for asset management. Just a teeny bit of background. I had never even opened ChatGPT before fall of last year. And I saw Vanessa Alfaro's course with Luna X AI, and I was like, I need to start doing this and figure out what is happening with AI and stop being so scared of it. So I jumped in, and it's really revolutionized the way that I operate my business, that I operate my properties. And I hope to share with the listeners today some really actionable items and make this seem not so overwhelming, because that's been a lot of my journey, is just figuring out how to use AI. You can't do all the things. And so what are the really actionable ways you can use AI today? So that's what I hope to share today. Okay, great. You can see this, right?
Yes, sure can.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to walk through just a few steps in the PowerPoint, and then I'm going to go over to ChatGPT and show you exactly how I do it step by step. So
that's perfect.
The greatest thing about ChatGPT is you can use ChatGPT to help you do better at ChatGPT. So I used to write my own prompts and my own instructions for my custom GPTs. And then I realized I should just be asking AI to write those for me. So the first thing I do is I write a mediocre prompt for ChatGPT. But here's what I tell it. I tell ChatGPT, you are a top 1% prompt engineer. Help me create these instructions. And then I talk about this prompt we're going to do is I'm an asset manager. This is for an 80 unit property in Little Rock. This is a made up property with some made up data for this. But, here's what I want you to be able to help me with: financial analysis, strategy, budgeting. And then I like this sentence too. I like the ChatGPT to ask clarifying questions instead of just telling me what I want to hear, because sometimes ChatGPT will just give you its best guess without really clarifying and making sure it understands what's going on. So then the next step is we'll build that property specific custom GPT. So let's do this real quick. I'm going to copy this, and we're going to head over to ChatGPT. Just in here, you need to have Plus, but it's only $20 a month. Everyone should have that. Okay.
Best investment you'll make this year.
Yeah. Easy. Okay. So you're a top 1%. ChatGPT, please help me write better instructions for my custom GPT. For those who don't know, the custom GPT lives over here, and it does a much better job than just your generic ChatGPT. You're going to train this specific custom GPT to help you with a task. The less tasks you give your custom GPT, the better job it will do. So I create a custom GPT for every single one of my properties. You can see here some of my custom GPTs, so that GPT, like this one for our made up Park Heights apartment, is going to be an expert in Little Rock, Arkansas. So here is our custom instructions. So it's going to say, I mean, I would never be able to write this on my own. It's so specific. It's going to tell this custom GPT about financial analysis, rent comps, budgeting, strategic, neighborhood awareness, understand the property's location. It already pulled the neighborhoods for me so that it understands the neighborhoods, location specific knowledge, ask clarifying questions. Here's some sample prompts it tells it. Okay. So I'm going to take this and we're going to copy, and we're going to go to GPTs and we're going to create a custom GPT. Now we're going to take everything it just told me to write and we're going to put it in this instruction section right here. And we're going to name this Park Heights Asset Manager. Sorry for all my typos. Okay. Then the other important thing, so now you have the instructions already written. The next thing you need to do is you need to...
Real quick, name and description. What's significance there? Name is just how you sort, and description would be what's the use there?
It's really just for you. So if you were going to share this with somebody else, I might explain what the asset manager is going to do. But for me, I don't really spend a lot of time on either of these. I just need to know what it is when I look at it in my left bar.
Got it. Cool.
Okay. So the instruction piece is the really important piece here. Yeah. And these are more important if you're making GPTs you're going to share with other people. Mine are all just for me. So. Okay. So knowledge base. This is where you get your GPT really good. So you're going to upload files that are about your property. So here we go. I created some templates. So we're going to upload a rent roll. We're going to upload our underwriting. We're going to upload a T12 on a real property. I'd upload the OM as well. You're trying to give this GPT as much information about this property so that it can give you the best recommendations. So normally I upload an OM.
Now, would it, if it's, say it's about the market, a market, and you're just asking it to do research on a market, and you upload one report from Marcus and Millichap about the market, do you know if it weighs that report more than all the other data it can get from everywhere else, or does it exclusively only use that one report for their knowledge base?
I think it uses that knowledge base, but it would probably go out, like, especially if that was a 2022 report, it would probably say, oh, my person thought this was interesting. I might look for data similar to that that's updated.
Got it.
So it takes like the OM, but if I ask it about rental comps, it's not just only giving me rental comps from the OM. It's going out and looking at apartments.com, et cetera, and giving me live information. Okay. Any other questions here?
No.
Okay. So we're going to create this GPT. Again, I only do these for me. Now we have our little friend here, Park Heights Asset Manager. So I'm going to go back to my presentation. So we're going to use this custom GPT now as your strategic partner. So I ask my ChatGPT everything about my property. I ask about signage. I ask about preparing for calls. I ask about CapEx budget. I ask it to review contracts. I ask it anytime I have a really big issue. So I'll give you a couple examples of ways that my custom GPTs have really been able to help me. One of them, I had this property and we were having an occupancy issue. And I kept, this was probably a 15, 20 minute conversation back and forth with my ChatGPT where I said, we're having an occupancy issue on this property. What do you think we should be doing? Well, you should be marketing on apartments.com. It started giving me pretty basic answers. I'm like, we're doing that. We're getting people in the door. We are having trouble solving leases. And so we kept going back and forth. And eventually my ChatGPT said, have you looked into what the actual application process looks like? I wonder if you're losing people through the application process. Is your application easy to fill out? And I thought, I'd never considered that. And so I went and attempted to fill out our application, and it was horrific. And this was a property that had a decent percent Hispanic population. And I'm thinking to myself, English is my first language and I can barely follow this. Like, what about somebody who maybe isn't completely fluent in English, or English is their second language? Like, there's no way they're going to get through this application. And so that's the kind of level of complexity you can get with the custom trained bot. Like, I never would have come to that solution that our application was tricky, but it helped me get there.
And then once you said it was back and forth about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Now that you've invested that time in this, now it's already going to pick up where you left off and build on that.
Yeah. And and that's a great point, because your bot out of the gates will be okay or good-ish. But the longer you use that bot every week, the more it knows. So now on some of my properties, when I put in a financial analysis, it'll understand what I had put in the week before, or it'll say, based on your previous CapEx spending, this is a concern we have based on some of these numbers coming through. And so it just gets better and better as it learns. And that's why you want a specific bot for each property, so that it doesn't get confused, so that it really understands that property, it really understands that market, and it really understands the issues you're having with that property.
And what's the difference between having the custom GPT versus just doing a new chat and then saying, hey, whatever their prompt was, you're a top 1% asset manager. Here's the property I'm looking at. Ask me any clarifying questions. Why not just create your own chat for that versus doing the custom GPT?
Yeah. So if you do a new chat, it's relearning every time. So it's not going to hold on to that information in the same way. So a new chat won't have the knowledge base, which is really important. And it's going to get too confused. You don't want to ask ChatGPT to do too many properties at once. Like, it wouldn't be able to distinguish your property, so it wouldn't remember, like, hey, this property has a boiler chiller.
I guess I was asked, just to clarify, and maybe I didn't ask it right. Like, if I create a new chat and it's this, where was the property? Arkansas, this fake property?
Yeah.
Yeah. If this new chat and it's fake property, Arkansas. And then whenever I have more questions about it, I go back to that specific chat about fake property, Arkansas. It would still learn from the previous stuff from that specific chat. It's not a custom GPT, so I didn't upload the spreadsheets and anything else. I just wonder, is there a difference between those two?
Gotcha. Like a historical chat. That's what you're saying. Go back to a historical chat.
Yeah.
Okay. I have never done that, because honestly, I do so many chats. I can't imagine, like, 2 weeks later going back and finding that old chat.
You have to search. I have to search for it, and it's like you under search chats. I have to search for it. Like I have a fitness one right now, and I haven't done any custom GPTs yet, but I will after this call because of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I like the fitness one. I always go back to that same chat. I know what to search for, and then it's constantly learning, from there. But I just didn't know if there was a difference between that and a custom GPT other than like searchability.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it is still going to learn better and tailor its responses better if it has that knowledge base that stays there. Yeah. And then it will also learn from things you upload, and it's just easier to find.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe somebody who works in AI might have a better answer.
Yeah.
For
Fair
you.
enough. Yeah. above our pay grade.
That's above our pay grade.
We're talking about practical stuff that works right now, and that's what you're doing. So appreciate that.
Yeah. And I find it much easier to have them all over here, and then I don't have to search. You can see I have a nutrition and fitness trainer here as well. And she's programmed with the things I like. So, okay. So let's practice here on our Park Heights asset manager. So, let's say I have my weekly call coming up. I am concerned about occupancy. Let me know what you think I should discuss based on the T12. And anything I can do to. Okay. Also, I love that you can like make typos and write incomplete sentences. It just fixes it for you. So here's our T12. Okay, so here's the only thing. I'm going to give my disclaimer before I put this data up here. I think ChatGPT and most AI does things at about 75%. I consider it a C student. So I use it to analyze all of my data and look at things like this, and it makes mistakes. So I never take the data that it gives me to heart 100%. I use it as a question to dig into it and maybe look at the document myself. It helps me find things that I wouldn't have found without it. But I never take exactly what ChatGPT says and just start spouting it out on a call or an email, because it makes mistakes, and it is, again, it's a C student at reading these things. And I take that C work and make it A work. But you don't want to just take, especially anytime you're asking ChatGPT to run data for you, you need to be really careful that you're double checking that data. I use it to do all of my monthly reports, but I double check like the totals to make sure that those make sense, because it will miscalculate things.
Okay.
So here it's talking about occupancy. It's talking about this property has 6,000 a month in vacancy. It looked at the rent roll. It saw 4 are in eviction status. That would definitely be something that I would be bringing up on a call. And so it just gives me some talking points. I don't always use all the talking points, but normally a couple of them are helpful. It gives me questions I can ask. So here's a question. Pricing and premiums. Are renovated units priced too high? Oops, I just clicked something. Priced too high. So I would say, can you do a market analysis and see if our pricing on 1 and 2 bedrooms is, again, this is going to give us C responses, right? A full market lease audit by your on-site team is going to be more accurate than this. But this is going to give us a good idea of whether we are ballpark in the range. Yeah, here, your bedrooms are 900 and below. You might be underpriced. And so, this type of research would take me an hour without ChatGPT,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
This not only points you in the right direction for what to ask, it gives you specific pointers for some insights to help solve what you're trying to solve. It's not, as you said, it's not the end all be all, but man, it gets us a lot of the way there.
Right. It gets you about 75% of the way there on everything. And then you're just doing that last 25% to really, double check, did the data come in right? The human part of it, right? This isn't replacing me. This is just helping me be better. So then I can go through here and say, oh, I know that we don't need to talk about this, but maybe we do need to talk about our pricing strategy. And, it often asks questions here at the bottom, which can be really helpful. It'll help you draft your emails if you want to send like a pre-email to your on-site team so they can prepare for the meeting, or, asks you specific rates and create a table comparison. Anyways, so I do this before every single one of my property management calls every week, the morning before or the night before. I upload current data and I ask it, and sometimes I have a question, like here I prompted it with occupancy, but sometimes I just say like, do you see any red flags? Like Is there anything out of the ordinary on spending? And it found something the other week. There was, we got double charged for pest. I'm not sure I would have caught that on my own, but they said your pest control expense line item's pretty high. And I pulled up the T12 and sure enough, it was $1,500 instead of, $900. And I asked and we got a refund. So, wow. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The other example I'll show you. So here we did the prep for the property management call. The other thing that I love ChatGPT for is for reading contracts is not my strong suit. And I hire, here we go. A lot of property managers, and they send these crazy contracts with all sorts of crazy loopholes for how they get paid. And this has helped me.
So let me just, can I read what you had in there as a, please help me analyze potential new property management companies for this property. I have attached a PDF management agreement. Read the agreement, look for any red flags. I want to understand fees, termination process, what marketing services are provided, anything that is of concern. I need answers to be succinct and easily digestible. Please return this information in a table with each management company being a row. The following are the column headers. Management fee, percentage, additional fees.
Sorry, here we go. Company name, management fee percentage, additional fees, marketing included, termination policy, red flags about the contract, and then I want it to rank them.
Wow. Okay.
I did this. I had like 10 property management companies that I was interviewing. And it's like each one has a, 20-page contract. And I have been screwed enough times by weird fine print in contracts.
Yep.
So here's this, I just uploaded one, but here's this property management company. This is a smaller asset. So 6% of collected rent, there's no on-site manager. But look at this additional fees.
Yep.
Like that's a lot going on here.
Yep.
Also this, a penalty fee for early termination, 6 months of management fees as part of their termination. Extensive additional fees. So it did this and it took 10 contracts and then it did this for all of them and then it ranked them and it was amazing. I'm really concerned about this additional fee piece. And I took it down from 10 to 2 property managers. And then I had calls with those 2 and picked my final one.
Wow. Yeah.
But
it starts with the prompt and how you're directing it to respond.
Yeah.
And would it be helpful if you said here before the please help me analyze something about, I don't know, you're a top one, similar to what you did before, you're a top 1% contract lawyer or top 1% multifamily operator who has 300 years experience, working with property management companies? Or is it already educated enough at this point where you don't want to redirect it to be something else?
Yeah, it's a good point. And it comes back to why I like the custom GPTs. So this Park Heights asset manager is already a top 1% multifamily asset manager. So as somebody who's a top 1% asset manager, she should be able to do this.
Yeah.
If you didn't have this custom GPT and you were just doing a new chat, you would absolutely want to put that. And you could make a case that you should have a lawyer analyzing your contracts instead of an asset manager. So you could, instead of putting it in this GPT, you could put it in a new chat and say, I'm a top 1% syndication lawyer or something. I don't know.
Sure.
Please help me analyze. But yeah, you're in the right thought process that you need to, if you're not in a custom GPT, you need to tell it who it is so that it does a good job. Who it is, what you want, and what you want the export to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So definitely using ChatGPT for analyzing all of my contracts, all my roofing contracts, everything like that. It just helps me catch things that I would otherwise miss.
Okay.
Cool. Another thing I have for anybody else out there who's a short-term rental owner, I have a short-term rental. And my short-term rental custom GPT, again, I created a custom GPT and I made her an expert in my market and short-term rentals. So I can show that real quick just so people can see. I just want to show. So here's my custom. Cave Creek is where my property is. This GPT is a top 1% short-term rental specialist and property manager with deep expertise in the area, optimizing short-term rental pricing strategies, guest enhancement. Responses should be professional, concise, and filled with actionable insight. Anyways, so I use this custom GPT to do everything in my Airbnb. She helped me with the decor. She helped me write my, the guides for the house, all the copy, all the auto guest messaging, all of the descriptions. She helped me find stores based on the design that she came up with so I could drive around the area and pick out things. She helped suggest amenities based on who our target market was. This was my second Airbnb. My first one was done before ChatGPT, and it probably cut my setup time in half.
Wow.
I just wrote none of the copy. She wrote all the signs for like the stove and the toilets and like all of those things. Yeah.
Okay.
So another way to use it. And then I'm going to show a couple things outside of ChatGPT, ways I use other AI pieces in asset management. So we talked about the property where we had occupancy issues. So one thing I love is this company. I'm not getting paid, just so everyone knows, by any of these things. It's called Calav AI, but I think it's $19 a month. And I turned it on for 2 months and I downloaded photos from all of my properties and I uploaded them. You can see this is the photo from my property manager. And I literally upload it to Calav and then I click furnish. And it gives me this photo. And when we talk about trying to get people in the door and improving your online presence and improving your apartments.com listing, like this second photo is so much warmer and more welcoming. Like you can see yourself living there versus this first one, which is clean, but it's cold,
Mm-hmm. Can you pick the furniture?
Yeah, there is different themes. And I canceled my subscription because I did all my properties. But there is modern, Scandinavian, industrial, mid-century. So you can choose like the theme.
And can you rearrange the furniture?
No.
No, it just populates it based on wherever. I was just thinking for people who are, for other uses, if they use this. Interior design, for example.
Yeah. I think it's really helpful. I did it I was also partners on a flip and I used it for our listing photos for the house because it was empty. And, to have a property staged, like at our apartment complex, the property manager said, oh, well, we'll hire somebody to stage the units. And then we'll hire a photographer to come in and take a photo of the staged units. Well, that was $5,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment, and I did this for $20 a month. Crazy. And is it perfect? No. But is it good enough to post the photos online? Yeah.
Yep.
And it's $20 instead of $5,000. Cool. The other thing I would like to highlight is just the Canva AI feature. And I'm showing the AI things that I've chosen to purchase the paid subscription for. There's a million ones. And I think that that's part of everybody's AI journey is like figuring out what software is worth paying for. But I really like this Canva AI. I use it to build everything, but it does a great job.
What will you elaborate on?
Yes.
What you mean?
Graphic design. So
Graphic
marketing.
design. Okay.
Yeah. All sorts of marketing stuff. So in my previous life, I did marketing for corporate America, and I used to pay people, $500 to $2,000 to help design me a logo or, a poster. Or this allows you to do, it has a really great video feature. I haven't used the website feature yet, but you can build websites here. I use it to do all of my graphics for social media. So it can build you graphics for social media. I run a meetup. It builds all my imaging for like the meetup invites. Mm-hmm. So I just did this for one of our apartments, but we'll say, please create a custom logo for Park Heights Apartments. I want the colors to be green and brown. I don't know.
And then the file that ultimately gets the final file, is it high res?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
you can change the sizing. So here it gave me a bunch of different, like, this is not bad, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And there's so many properties out there that don't have logos, that don't have staged photos. It doesn't take that much to set yourself above the competition. Mm-hmm. And so you can then take this into Canva editor and you could tweak things if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. But this is how I build logos for my apartment complexes now. And then I built everyone a custom logo and custom website and used the staged furniture, and it looks really, really professional. Mm-hmm. So, and then awesome. I show you in here, but here's the sample I did for this, but I did this logo, and then I said, based on the information that ChatGPT had given me, maybe we should be working on referrals and our referral program to help our occupancy. So let's do a barbecue where we have tenants invite a friend. And so then I had Canva build me a flyer.
Where to get that image of those people?
It just was in Canva.
Okay. All right. Because my experience with ChatGPT is if I say, hey, show me an image with 10 people, they all look like aliens.
Yes.
Like creepy aliens or zombies.
Yes.
So Canva has a images, like a stock images that they easily can pull from of real people.
Yeah, it's a good point. Some people use ChatGPT for some graphic design work, and it's getting better, but I don't like it at all.
Yep.
I've tried to use it for like my headers and stuff, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
So I like Canva's a lot better, and then it also allows you to edit the photo in a really simple way. Okay. So you can make it exactly the way you want. Because again, ChatGPT AI, it's getting you 75% of the way there. Yep. So you take that and then you tweak it 25% instead of starting from scratch. So that's really all I have. Implementing your AI asset management system. Create your custom GPTs. The less your GPT does, the better it will do. So super specific custom GPTs. Upload your knowledge base. Integrate additional AI tools, and then use it regularly because it'll only get better the more you use it.
This has just been wonderful. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Just very, as you said prior to us recording, and I think you said it after we started recording, just you were going to bring practical approaches to how we can use this for property management, asset management. And it's just great. And everyone after this, watching you, hearing you talk and watching this, will be able to do what you just showed us that you do. So thank you for that, and thank you for the bonus stuff too with the short-term rental, if anyone has that, and the other aspects of Canva and the virtual staging website, COLLOV.ai. So thanks for all that. How can the best ever listeners learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah, they can go to bonnywayman.com and reach out to me there. Or I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, all of those places as well. But I'd love to talk to people. You know, I'm still certainly in my AI journey. I don't consider myself an expert, but happy to share and help people out. And if people really want to learn, I'd recommend the Luna X AI course, which is what I did, which is like next level.
Okay. Luna X AI
Dot
course.
AI,
That's
yeah.
Dot AI. That's with Vanessa.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where
Awesome.
I've learned everything. And again, it's just taking those little actions and giving it a try. So hopefully people can use this and try some of these things out for themselves.
Well, thanks a lot for being on the show. Hope you have the best ever day and talk to you again soon.
All right. Great. Thank you.